Greetings, programs. This is Wretch. Welcome back to Citizen Sleeper. And in the last episode, guys, we were able to get a little bit more intel on the captains here on the flotilla. All of them have their own agendas and goals, but it seems that all of them do want the same thing, to get out of the way of the flux that's causing so much damage and doom throughout this entire system. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all of them are able to work together or not in order to find out what exactly the flux is. Now we've got 2 more days until Peake is ready to talk to us over here at the Climbing Briar, while over here at the docking access we have the Axis job board and crew socializing. And we have, it looks like 12 we have to fill up here with Axis assistance before we're finished up with this. So let's go ahead and we may be able... Hold on. How many days? Alright. It'll be interesting to see if we can pull this off. We're definitely going to use the job board here. There's 2. You take a handful of jobs and work through them, sharing tips and chatting with the crews. You can feel them warming to you. Huzzah! Alright. So, reroll. Oh, that's not good. That could have been a lot. That could have been better. Let's see if we can at least get half of this up. Okay. And I don't really want to risk the other 2. We wouldn't be able to finish this anyway. So we are going to have to try and finish that tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get some good dice. So let's go ahead and head over here to the commune. Spend some dice to get some food. A little bit of energy. And unfortunately, I do not have... Scrap and condition is probably not the best thing for us right now. I mean, we can always try. I'll tell you what. We're going to go ahead and give this a shot. See what happens. If we lose any more condition, then I'll just use one of our stabilizers. You crack open a door and are greeted by the expanse of stars and the cold of space. You just about managed to cling on to the eye. Alright. Well, that's unfortunate. So, now that it's orange, that means that we lost a die. But that's okay. We've got the medicine. Alright. And we end the cycle. Good dice today, please. Alright, there's potential here. There is potential to get this done before Peake is ready with whatever they've discovered. It's really going to depend on our rerolls. Big bucks, no whammies. Hey! And that's what we needed. Sleeper! Peter calls to you as you cross the axis. He's standing by the same railing as you saw him at last time, and he beckons you over. I've been hearing things. He gives you a sidelong look. Good things? Peter smiles. Mostly. He rubs his hands together nervously, and you wait for him to speak. You know, on Song, I was a teacher. He glances at you, anticipating a response. Really? Well, don't sound so surprised. Mechanical engineering. It's an essential subject on a moon where a single mechanical failure could mean the death of hundreds. He looks at the ground. The heat, the atmosphere, the radiation, all of it is hostile to us. My students knew this. Their work, their training, was respected. As long as they were careful and respected Song themselves, they could have their choice of colony placements. They were always in demand. That meant I was respected, surrounded by friends and colleagues, always able to call in favors and repay them like for like. He frowns. Song colonies are small, close-knit. We look after our own. When the flux events started hitting, colonies went dark overnight. We all knew what those kind of failures meant. Like always, we lost more people than any of the other moons. He balls his hands into tight fists. Not a single one of my students left Song. Our future was cut off, just like that. My future. He flexes his hands. What am I out here? What use am I? Song is a fading memory, and the systems we built there are useless outside its orbit. How am I supposed to move on from here? He looks at you, eyes steely gray and glinting. Find someone to teach. Peter pauses, thinking. You don't give up, do you, Sleeper? You just keep going. Peter shakes his head. You remind me of a student of mine, one who entered the program from one of the smaller colonies. They didn't have the advantages of some of the others, but they were stubborn. Stubborn as hell. By the end of the program, they were the most skilled of their peers. They didn't get the best assignment, maybe because they didn't spend much time making the kind of connections that would help you get there. But that didn't matter, because I knew they would make the best of anything they set themselves out to do. Peter is smiling now, buoyed up a little by the memory. Singers are stubborn, Sleeper. We aren't going to change easily. We won't forgive easily, or take help easily. But we'll hold strong. You can count on us for that. Peter stands from the railing. When you see Soul again, you can tell him that. You can tell him how the crews of Ember's Song operate. Tell him we will resist. If that means resisting Hearth's imperialist ambitions, so be it. If it means resisting the flux, so be it. And if it means to, as you have, help others resist those same pressures, so be it. Peter smiles. And then tell him to leave us alone. He turns, his step lighter, and heads off toward the center of the Axis' hub. I mean, that could have gone a lot worse. Okay, let's talk to Soul. When you arrive at the bridge of the Pilgrim Seed, Soul is waiting for you. You wouldn't believe the messages that have come through in the past few cycles, Sleeper. He smiles. The ship from Steppe has sent a goodwill gesture, a whole cache of supplies from their own farms. He smiles again. I'm not sure how we'll use them, but the gesture is a welcome one. Song, meanwhile, are apparently accepting supplies again, although a little reticently, if I may say so. Soul smiles again. I don't expect them to change anytime soon, it should be said. And what I'm wondering, Sleeper, is what part you had in all of this. Soul eyes you, waiting for an answer. I helped where I could. I've come to expect that from you, Sleeper. He smiles. You look at Soul, his eyes bright and eager, and wonder what he sees in you. Are you a tool to be used, or an ally? It could be hard to tell. I want to show you something. Soul squeezes your shoulder, turning you to face the lift. He leads you along the axis of the ship, toward the engines, the clanking of his suit accompanied by the constant hammering and welding that fills the echoey bulkheads of the Pilgrim seat at all hours. With the cordon lifted and shuttles able to go out to salvage scrap and barter for supplies, the ship has become a place of transformation, moving towards some state yet to be revealed to you. You look at Sol. What is his plan here? What is he preparing the Pilgrim seed for? Or is his sharp eyes simply focused on making it through the next cycle? Suddenly, Sol stops in front of a huge bulkhead door, like the seal on the front of a dry dock hangar. He signals to someone in a cabin high up, attached to the wall, and they begin the process of opening it up. The Pilgrim seed was built as a short-range freight carrier, you know. The amber warning lights on the bulkhead door send spinning shadows across Sol's face. We built it to ship the entire harvest from thousands of farms to the silos at Passero. When we realized we'd need to leave, it was the biggest ship we could muster. Sol raps on a metal plate, and somehow she's carried us all the way out here. You led the evacuation? Me? Oh, not even close. I was a farmer, had a whole load of land and people to run it, and my people helped convert this place for the long trip. He looks at his feet. Others led, organized the evacuation, and debated the plan. What happened? None of those folks made it. Sol rubs his forehead. We were out in the black a long time before we got here, Sleeper. Things happen. The upshot is I was chosen to take over. I guess my crew trusted me and I knew the ship. I argued, reminded them I'm no leader and that I'm sick, but well, when service chooses you. A loud klaxon sounds, indicating the bulkhead doors are ready to open. They groan as they slide back, the metal squeals echoing through the vast ship, bouncing off its hard-plated walls. At first, all you see is darkness. Then the lights go on, in huge strips that stretch back and back as far as you can see. The space in front of you, a vast bay, bigger than any you've ever seen, is empty. When we left Hearth, we didn't have the time or resources to convert the entire ship. Sol begins leading you into the massive space. So much of the freight space we sealed away, shut down. But now, we have time. We have resources. We stabilized here, at least for the moment. Sol turns to you. Now's the time we make use of all this. How can you use this? What do you think happens next for the Eye, Sleeper? The flux has already hit one part of the station, and from what I know, it'll hit again. On Hearth, we lost everything. There isn't much time, Sleeper, but there's enough time to do something. Think of the number of people we can fit on here. The farming stacks, the housing. Hell, we can plant some of those mushrooms you love so much. This is the way forward. The only way. We need to fill this ship with able bodies and head for the starboard belt. I thought the Eye was your destination. It was, until the flux hit here. Now it's just another stop. I'm glad of the chance to resupply and salvage, but we need to go further out. I want you to help me. You know the Eye. You have connections. You can work hard. I've seen it. Sol meets your eye. I know you're like me, Sleeper. You didn't choose service, but it chose you. I don't know. I know it's a lot to think about, Sleeper. Trust me. Sol begins to lead you back out of the bay. But think of what we can do here. The flotilla can't last forever. We need more than just farmers to make this work. We need to build a new world for ourselves. I've heard that out there in the belt there are people who've been setting up since the collapse, making something of their own. That's our future, tucked away in those rocks, far from all of this. I didn't bring my people here just to let them die somewhere new. Sol crosses back over the threshold of the bay and signals for the operator to close it up. The door groans and Sol waits for it to stop. Think about it, sleeper. Sol claps an arm on your back. But don't wait too long. This is happening soon. And he leaves you there, in the silence of this vast bay, your head spinning with the thought of leaving the eye. Oh dear. Oh, we got an upgrade point. Well, considering the fact that we're having to do so much engineering, let's go ahead and spend these 3 upgrade points on +2 engineering. So the only thing we don't have +2 on is enduring and engage. And I think that's pretty good, all things considered. Alright, so we'll be ready for Peake's progress here in the next cycle. That was kind of a curveball. I didn't expect Sol to do that. Like, not only does he want to get his ship back up, he wants everyone on the Eye to form up and basically turn this into a colony ship. But there are a lot of people on the Eye. Look how big this place is. And who knows if the mushrooms that the sleeper requires to live on, if for stabilizers, if they would even grow, because this wouldn't be here. Alright, well, go ahead and get some food. And we could just go ahead and try and grab some caps. I mean, we do need some good ones for more stabilizer. I may do that tomorrow if we don't need any good dice. That may be exactly what's needed. What about, okay. What to do with our last lonely dice. You know what? Let's not even worry about it. Let's just go ahead and crash out. If you don't need to use it, you don't need to use it. Oh wait, we could sunbathe. Allows you to gather energy. Well, I guess that would have worked out anyway. Boop. Now let's see if Peake wants to talk to us right off the bat. Oh, that is a good day. Holy crap. Alright, let's talk to Peake and then see what's going on here. Have you ever heard of Con Channel Sleeper? Peake asks you as you enter the bay, as if you were in the middle of a conversation. There are heavy circles under their eyes, and you aren't sure if they've moved since you last visited. The console they're working at seems to have grown too, shadowing their slight frame in a wealth of screens and wires. Con? K-A-N, you mean for transit? Yes, exactly. Peake turns to face you. Kiomani's active negation, the name of the effect used to transport trillions of tons of materials from the surrogate systems to the core. You might have heard of it in your physics classes. At XPR, they hammered the principles into us as kids. Con. We'll say can. Peake recites the definition as if in a classroom. A process of collapsing spatial causality along the Euclidean distance between 2 points by negating mass simultaneously at both ends of the geodesic curve. Essentially, can channels allow for near instantaneous transport of raw materials between systems. They require huge volumes of energy, of course, and decades of construction, but once a can channel is established, it opens up a system for infinite exploitation. The backbone of surrogacy is what XPR called them. Peake shakes their head. They might not be able to send anything more complex than a rock through them. Complex machines and people are, shall we say, reconfigured by the process. But for raw, molecularly pure materials, Peake flicks a hand. Whoosh! This is your research? Peake pauses. What I was trying to find out was whether the Helion system, this system, ever had a CAN channel. CAN channels are vastly expensive to build, to run. Not every surrogate system has one. Many use fraction drive ships to transport their materials to the nearest hub, but Solheim... Peake smiles. Solheim spared no expense when they established this system. There's a CAN channel? Yep. Peake's eyes light up. They shut it down before the collapse. They couldn't run the sender-receiver station anymore. But it was there. It still is, as far as I can tell, closely orbiting our star. In fact, Peake grins. They've been building to this. I'm sure it's still there, because one of the issues with CAN channels are the massive waves of exotic energy they can produce when cycling up. The flux. Exactly. Peake's face suddenly drops. Someone is starting up the channel. Why? Peake sucks in a breath. That I don't know. They start counting off information on their fingers. They need a lot of resources to do it, and they need to have people from the core systems, but there's no real large-scale extraction in the Helion system anymore, so why would you go to the trouble? Just to trigger the flux? Peake rubs their red eyes. The flux, the wave the CAN effect produces, is a side effect. A problematic one, but it isn't a destructive force. If it was, the core systems would have never been able to use it. So then why are colonies collapsing because of it? Why is it chewing through systems? The kind of industrial system set up to function within the range of a once active CAN channel. Peake is getting frustrated. The moons of Ember have been terraforming since before the collapse. They would have had to deal with the flux. Yet everything we've heard from the refugees says it brought down every system they had. Peake falls quiet, thinking it all through. Your mind drifts too, thinking of the CAN channels, those vast ecological highways that prop up the core systems and their endless appetite for resources. This system has been quiet for decades. Solheim collapsed, most corporations gave up their claims, and apart from the Celis ships that came to begin work on the sidereal horizon, no one from the core has come here in all that time. You shiver as you imagine the attention of the core, the systems of logic and exploitation that created you, created your suffering, turning towards the Helion system. A floodlight turned to this dark corner. A shrill bleep catches both of your attention, and Peake rushes to a screen, one showing a crude map of the station. On it, individual markers begin to flare up with incessant chirps. Peake looks puzzled for a moment, and then their face drops. No, no, no. They lean in close. This doesn't make any sense. What's happening? The flux nodes are appearing elsewhere on the station. Peake pulls at their hair. I set this system to alert me to other flux nodes near the epicenter of the flux event, but these are everywhere. The hub, the low end. How can this happen? The only reason we saw flux nodes here is because it's the most run-down part of the station. They were barely shielded. But others are appearing. So far after the event. Peake turns to you. You're going to need to get me the data from these nodes, and quickly. I'll keep looking at what I have here, but I need to know why they're popping up everywhere. Right now? Right now. We can talk more about CAN channels and system history when you're back, but this needs our attention right now. Peake turns quickly to the monitor. their eyes following scrolling screens of code spewing from the newly fluxed nodes. You leave quickly, but struggle to shake the image of the spotlight from your mind. You feel watched as you cross back into the Pilgrim seed, on your way to a shuttle bay. You hurry onward, eager to outrun the fear. Okay, well, there's the climbing briar. Deliver flux data. So that little shield they thought they were going to have, they do not have anymore. Okay, well, at least it's not here in this area. I guess the cloud kind of prevents that. Gadigan agent. Okay. Flux node. Access protocols? Well, we got the dice for this, don't we? Extract that data. Good, good. Yadigan agent, Haven Age agent. Another flux node. Get our 5 cryo. Okay, I think that should be everything. I think it was just those areas that Peake was talking about. Well, wait a minute. Let's go ahead and travel up. Just to see. Aha! This node is in 2 places at once. It's there each time you turn. Ooh. I want to keep these for mushroom extraction if we can. Okay. Whoa. What is that? Something gonna... Oh, maybe the flux is like personified. That would be kind of cool to see what happened. Very similar to the killer and the hunter. Okay, I think that was all 3 of them. Let's drop these off to Peake and see. Yep, Peake has tracked flux nodes in the low end, hub, and shipyard. And I don't think there was anywhere else that we could have got any info. Well, hold on a second. I'm curious about that now. Is anyone watching here? No? I mean, other than the gardener, but gardener don't care. He's like Willie from The Simpsons. And no one here. So only someone's watching up here at the shipyard. But we don't have any other nodes or anything to access, so that might be something that we see at another time. A little bit more mystery. I like it. Okay. We'll actually cross over now. Actually, I don't know if I'm going to get some mushrooms. Maybe I can just get some salvage, so we don't even have to use another stabilizer for a bit. Alright. Now, that means we're going to be talking to Peake. I know... Well, we haven't had an episode in a bit. Let's just go ahead and see where the chips fall. Loads the data into their decoding setup. I'll be just a moment. Don't leave, sleeper. Oh. Action unavailable. That's just on 1. Holy crap. You watch as Peake works on the flux data. The nodes unfolding like flowers now, giving in to Peake's increasingly sophisticated decoding protocols. Scanning data like this, as an image on screen, is an almost unrecognizable representation to you. It's nothing like swimming among nodes and threads. Despite this, Peake has proven themselves to be more than able to handle these complex data structures, even through this limited representational paradigm. The bay door hisses, interrupting your flow of thoughts, and you turn to see Eshe entering. Eshe! She looks up and meets your eye, but doesn't respond. Eshe stalks into the bay, head down. She looks tired and not in a mood to talk. How's the weapon hunt? Peake asks without turning from their screen. Slow, unsuccessful, tedious. Eshe slams a bag down on a crate and hops up to sit on it. You still unpicking balls of yarn? With the sleeper's help. Peake smiles. They brought me some good stuff this cycle. Maybe it could help you find the weapons you were smuggling. It's clear that Eshe doesn't appreciate Peake's tone. Still looking? Uh-huh, Eshe replies. And whoever took them better be making the most of their rapidly shortening lifespan right now. Eshe. Peake cuts in without looking away from the console. We talked about this. This is my mistake, Peake, and I'll fix it how I want. Eshe folds her arms. I know one of the factions of the flotilla has taken them. I just need to find out. Peake holds up a hand. Shh! They lean in toward the screen. Oh, son of a... What? They hid it in the wave of the wave. Peake is whispering to themselves. It's alive. They lean back in their chair. Eshe crosses over to look at the screen. Alive? Well, it's growing. It's processing. It's quietly working away in the dark. Look. You cross over to the screen and stand beside Eshe. In it you can see that Peake has all 4 nodes decoded, and the pattern of shadows from inside them sit on the screen like dark stains. Then you notice it. The movement. The thin threads cross from one stain to another. As you watch, you notice that the movement only ever happens in your peripheral vision, as if this thing, this shadow, knows it's being watched. This is how the other flux nodes appeared. Peake rubs their eyes. They weren't fluxed by the wave. They were corrupted after the fact. This thing, this shadow that entered in the wake of the wave, it corrupted them. But it made the corruption look like the result of the flux. It's a sleight of hand. Peake runs a hand through their hair. The flux wave is so massive, so complex that it opens up the systems to be attacked. As it reconfigures exposed systems, this shadow is broadcast in, implanted inside. The wave from the can channel. It's a brute force way of hitting every system in Helion. Once the systems are vulnerable... Peake looks pale. Their eyes reflect the screens. The flux isn't what's attacking the systems. It's the siege weapon. A Trojan horse. Then this thing takes over. Peake sits back in their chair. And it's already on the eye. Wait. Eshe rubs her forehead. You're telling me there's a can channel in this system? Oh, shit. Peake isn't listening. This is bad. We have to take this to someone. Peake looks desperately at you. Oh, we have to make a choice. Of Helene or Soul. Oh, man. Well, I'm going to go ahead and think on it, guys, and we will figure out what the sleeper decides at the beginning of the next episode. Hope y'all have enjoyed it. That's a nice little twist, so it's actually... the flux is being, like, weaponized for this. But hope you all have enjoyed it. If you liked the episode, please leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help. And we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.